Good morning and happy Monday. I am so very pleased to be able to share this project with you. I've been working on these 6 journals for 6 weeks, and I actually made another journal in between, so that was 7 journals altogether. And I relaxed, enjoyed my time making them. I don't ever make rush decisions, so everything is well thought out and planned. And these were no exception, but I'm so very pleased with the results. As I'm filming this or recording this video, I'm going to actually be doing 3. I'm going to feature 2 journals in each video so that the videos are shorter. And if there are people that have already spoken for them, they can watch those specific videos rather than all 6 of them because it just gets too long-winded. But I do love to cover all the details. And hopefully there will be people that will be inspired to try making one like this themselves or similar. So again, I was mostly inspired by Lorna Taylor's 1871 Paris fashion ladies. And they were taken from the drawings of Godet, the illustrations from 1871. I've also used a couple of her other kits. The Lavender kit, which is beautiful. It's a great complement to bring out all the purple in the images and the backgrounds. And I also used the wool dyeing documents. Her kits are large. However, the first kit with just the ladies on it, what drew me to it was the color of their garments. It was just exquisite, and I knew I had to do purple and dark navy and dark colors. So what you're seeing is more of a monochromatic purple look, all the way down to periwinkle, including, sort of the blue, a bit of bluish purple. And that particular kit only had, I think, 10 or 13 images in it. So I just copied it many times, probably 5 or 6, and dispersed the images throughout all of these journals. I also used, I have them all written down here because I would surely forget. So it was the 1871 Victorian Ladies Fashion Plates by Godet's Ladies Magazine. Also from her are the 1816 Recipes for Dyeing Cotton and Wool notebook, her French Lavender kit, and then from ThePaperCameo, I used her Bella Floral Ledger and Bella 2 sets, which are romantic French court style women, shabby French style, which I just absolutely love, and I felt it was a beautiful compliment to the Victorian ladies. And then I also used some beautiful fussy cut flowers from Odulcina and from AngelaKerrDesigns. So those are primarily the kits that I used, which was quite a few. And if you've been following along in my process, photos and posts and such on Facebook or Instagram, I tea-dyed about 200 pages in the beginning. And I had this beautiful silk, Dupioni silk fabric that I used for the other 4 covers. These 2 are from Sheila Gingrich's Velvet Bundles. This particular journal I have named Pansy, and this one I have named Violet. So they all look the same. Even these ones, I'll just pull one over. Got them in a stack waiting to be recorded, videos recorded here. Lots of beads. Tried to really make it representative of the era. So this is the silk cover journals here, as you can see. It's more of a periwinkle blue. Well, still purple though. So these 2 have been spoken for, and all of them have been pre-sold. But I do have a list, and if anyone doesn't commit to actually purchasing it, please email me at vintageeleganceinspiration@gmail.com and get your name on the list if you're at all interested. They are absolutely beautiful, so very lovely. I am going to share I'm going to start with the darkest color and then go lighter. So let's do Pansy, or sorry, Violet. And each journal comes with a beautiful stick pin that Sheila has custom made for me. I asked her to do some purple ones a while back. And I am capable of making stick pins. However, I just haven't had the time to do that this go around. So vintage buttons on the spine, of course, 5 of them. What makes this style very unique, which I was quite pleased with myself, was I used a veiling lace to wrap around the entire cover, front to back, and that way there's a pocket on each side. You can leave it flat, you can leave it flush. That is totally fine. I'm just going to take these out of here right now. So what I do is I wrap the velvet. Around the cover, and then yeah, stitch it all in place. There is scrapbook paper on the inside. I use Stamperia's scrapbook paper, the Lilac collection. And then I made these sweet little tags on the front. And the best way to take them out is by sliding them so that the vintage beads don't get ruined. Very simple tags. I've just added a tiny little tag made out of the Edith Holden book page and a piece of bling that I've cut apart, either a bracelet or a necklace, and just attached a piece of bling to each little tiny tag. Some of Sheila's beautiful silk sari textiles here, and just some cardstock on the back. I've done a few booklets. This one is just a very tall, skinny booklet or journalette with some, extra papers that I had. And then I've included paper dolls in each journal cover, and I'm just so thrilled with these. This is what inspired me, these images, to make this collection of journals. I just love them. They're so sweet. You could take this, you could cut them apart, you could use them on a page, you could use them as bookmarks, you could use them totally whatever you would like to do. These measure 8.5 by 5.5, and of course the lace does cascade over the sides. I love that look. Sari silk ties, ribbon closure, that are the same from the velvet bundles from Sheila. And let's open it up inside. Make sure I'm entirely in frame. Very long dangly beads at the bottom, but I'll show those when I come to the center of the signature. These are all single signature journals. They are very, very full, probably the fullest I've ever done. And because I had lace attached to the outside and the inside, it was fairly tricky sewing the signature into place. This one has 96 page sides, front and back. In the front of each journal, I've included a little stack of papers. I have a tag. I'm just going to undo this here. So these are like flower fairies, these tags here. I'm not exactly sure which kit I had these from. I've had them for a long time. I've got some vintage stationery with some beautiful purple flowers on it, a tiny little envelope, and then I've made these booklets out of tea-dyed paper and some vintage lace sewn onto the spine, some metallic embroidery thread, beads, and just a few pages to take some special notes. I have included some of this amazing tea-dyed, avocado-dyed, metallic rose gold splattered papers that I've got, so that you could each try them and see what you think. I just absolutely love them. I think they're stunning. So that is what is in the front pocket of each journal. And now I'm just going to flip through and show you the images. All these, most of these purple laces on the side and appliques are custom dyed for me by Susie Oberman from Mary Not Martha. She does beautiful custom dyeing, absolutely beautiful. And I thought I've got to make use of all this lace, so I did make 6 journals, and I still have quite a lot left. So thank you, Susie, for giving me a great supply to work with. A little pocket here, some of the paper from Stamperia, just a tag, some vintage lace ruffle down here. It's actually gathered lace, and then an applique. Just going to leave this here. This side is one of the Bella kits pages from ThePaperCameo, as is this envelope. And I've just got one of the smaller images from the Victorian Fashion Ladies collection by Lorna Taylor. Some vintage music paper with a gorgeous applique. This one I purchased at a vintage market. Absolutely gorgeous. I love that grayish, navyish purple. These tags I made quite large, decoupaged some lovely napkin on the back, and they actually had a purple butterfly on them. And then I cut out some more of the paper dolls. I used 64-pound cardstock, and that's what I printed out for the paper dolls, and then cut them up. How sweet is that? And just back them with mixed media paper, so it could hold the decoupage a little bit easier. Beautiful French, antique French lace on this side, and the digitals from Lorna Taylor. These are Bella here, just a little small ephemera card from Tim Holtz. I mainly put these in here just so you could see how to use them. I know we all know how to use them, but not necessarily, you know, intended to make them. I wasn't going to fill every little hidey hole or tuck spot, but I just wanted to give you the effect of what you can do. Beautiful, beautiful Anna Griffin paper. I've now used it all up. These were the cover tags. Front cover tags were made out of the same paper. So one sheet of 12 by 12 gave me 6 tags. And then I used the top die cut that I have, a set from Heartfelt Creations from a few years back. Beautiful white vintage lace here. A little bit of a pocket if you want to use it that way. And backed onto the parchment paper. Digital from the French Lavender kit by Lorna. Here's just some scrapbook paper that I tea dyed. Added a gorgeous grayish beige piece of lace. I actually had about, I think 6 or 7 pieces of this, and I just thought it was so lovely. One of the images from the Lavender kit, Stamperia paper pack. This is vintage French grammar book page here. Love the color. Did some stenciling in purple ink, some tea dyed tracing paper, another beautiful image. And then here I've got one of these little just a tag really, backed onto Stamperia's paper, and I've used the Edith Holden book page and run some crinkled seam binding, and then these buttons that have a shank through them. And I just love the way it drapes over the side of the page. Just gives it a really lovely full look. Some stamping, lots of journaling room. I would say my journals are meant more for journaling, for actually writing. There's a lot of lovely textiles to look at, but they are absolutely beautiful. And I see here, where did that go? That I need to put a ribbon through here. Here it is. Didn't get around to doing that. I sure will though. Some beautiful lace from Susie. And then I've just taken these papers and done a short flap page. Some stamping. A vintage Battenberg lace tiny doily or coaster that I have tea dyed, and added one of Nikki's custom dyed appliques to the page, just for some interest. Here we've got a beautiful book, tag, large tag made from Edith Holden book page. I like using the months of the year, and these are from my smaller book, so the type is a little bit smaller. Here's some of the fussy cut flowers, vintage lace, and I did some lilac colored, well, we used to call it bias tape. It's just about 1/2 inch lace seam binding. Beautiful textiles from Sheila's Sari Silk. This is a die cut that I've made into a pocket. I did one of each of these in every journal. some vintage sheet music, and then one of these journaling tags that I have made on index paper, actually planner paper. I take a whole page, cut it in half, use some French book page, an image, digital image from one of the kits, that's from Bella, and then just some beautiful rosebuds and some crinkled seam binding. This particular color is ash. It's just so beautiful. And then I've done a veiled page where I take very sheer lace. This one has eyelash trim on it, and then run it across the entire page. Just tack it down lightly with a bit of glue and then sew it into place. So most of the stitching for the pages I did in, I tried to complement whatever color lace I was attaching to the side. So some of it is in the light beige and some of it is in the purple. Some vintage Bible page, some poetry. I believe this is Emily Dickinson, these book pages. A small piece of ephemera that I've just used as a pocket and put one of the fussy cut flowers into it, peeking through. I just love that look. Some gorgeous lace, more appliques, one of the tiny images that I shrunk down from the kit, and just some scrapbook paper on this side. It opens up to have a lot more journaling space. And these tags I just made out of some tea-dyed scrapbook paper, some French book page, some mulberry paper that I have that's got to be at least 25, 30 years old, and then this vintage stationery again. So brittle, if I try to fold it, it will crack. So I had to think of a way to use it that focused on the image but didn't destroy the paper, so it's supported by the papers behind it. And then one of the tab toppers from the digital kit. Beautiful text there. Just some extra writing space in this page layout, a little folder, and some metallic purple paper that I have run through the embosser. There's one of the, oh yes, this set, I can't remember the name of it, but I felt that it really coordinated well, and it was a little bit smaller than the regular 8.5 by 11 pages that we use. So I will include the name of the description in the description box below, of which this one is. This is from the Lavender kit, and I just stamped it with one of Lorna's beautiful stamps in gold embossing powder. And it's just an envelope. I don't have anything in it right now, but certainly can be added to a little tuck spot with one of the booklets from the Victorian fashion ladies. Some vintage fabric, cotton fabric here that I've ruffled on the page edge. And this is the center spread. And here we've got the beautiful beads that I've chosen to use here. Just a mixture. A few hearts, some flowers. I love the blue and the purple together. This came off an old bracelet of mine that fell apart. I wore it until it fell apart. I love deconstructing jewelry. Just so stunning. Just some extra little note papers here. This is embossed. Those were given to me by Georgianne, and I think I've used them all up now. Some purple stenciling over here in a rose. Just some lovely lace. Some stamping, and then I've got some of Sheila's velvet left over from previous projects that I've just ruffled and added some of her bling to the top of this page. I just love that effect. So lovely. And this pocket, I've used some insert lace here with some crinkled seam binding in a lilac color. This is vintage wallpaper. I scored a real beautiful find from a lady that I have befriended. And I don't know if she's going to see this video, but she is changing her shop location, and she asked me if I did workshops locally. And I said, well, I haven't, but I sure would be interested. So we are connecting, and maybe that's going to be a new avenue that opens up for me. This is, again, some of Sheila's beautiful, I think it's chiffon silk from one of her sari pieces. And then I just added a little bit of vintage music paper, backed it onto parchment paper that's more cardstock weight, so that it would hold the the moisture from the antique sand paste, it dries very, very quickly. So it didn't sit on the wallpaper very long. It had no time to absorb, and it dried very quickly. So these were a big success. I was so very pleased. I like the effect of everybody using the white as they have been doing, but I really like the colors. I just think it adds a lovely dimension. Here's some more of Susie's dyed applique trim with the dangles hanging down. I love it. A little tuck spot here, just a little notebook, paper, leftover paper. And that's from the French lilac kit. Some more book page, Bible page, a little bit more embossed metallic paper. I've just done a little pocket out of the digital image paper there. Here's the veiling lace again with this image. I got asked a lot about this one. This is from ThePaperCameo. Isn't it just absolutely so stunning and feminine? Very, very simple. All I used was the planner index cards, cut them in half, some French book page, and the image, and a little bit of rose gold vintage lace with some of the rosebud trim, and then the ash colored crinkled seam binding. I just love that effect. So lovely. Here is some more decoupaging on this side. These are very large because they were like paper towelettes, and I wanted to capture all the lavender in there. I just thought it was so beautiful. So I do the dry embossing method. You can search YouTube and find how others have done it. You paint the Mod Podge on your mixed media surface, let it dry. Sometimes it dries in 15 minutes or an hour. Usually I leave it overnight. And then the next morning I take the iron and put your napkin over top of the glued side, and then put parchment paper over top, and then you iron it, and it just sticks beautifully like a charm. It's incredible. And then I just stitched around the sides. So each journal has one of those with some purple crinkled seam binding. And then this beautiful lace that I have inserted some navy crinkled seam binding through the vintage sheet music paper. Checking to see, yep, I'm in frame. Scoochie it a little over. I used a beautiful handkerchief here with this tatting. How beautiful is this? Just a work of art, you know. I know some people are still taking on tatting, and we're seeing it around, but it's such a skill that I admire. And then some of Susie's beautiful purple appliques. These tags, I used the Anna Griffin paper. I used some of my purple file folders, some of this gray silk sari from Sheila, and some of her bling on the top there. And it just slides into the pocket nicely. Some of the page edges are ripped, some are not. You know, these are easy for writing on. You can take all the ephemera out and it will fold down very nicely for writing in. Beautiful lace, kind of a mulberry purple color. And some more journaling space. Here's another vintage wallpaper mixed media tag that I've used the antique sand paste. This is Opera Mauve, the color. And look at that beautiful silk chiffon. Sorry, silk. I don't know what exactly it's made of, but it's just stunning. And I love the way they fray. It's amazing. And Georgianne, here's our favorite lace. Used a lot of it in this book, in all of these books. Pocket from the Lavender kit. And then I've just threaded some of the very light colored, this is lighter than ash, crinkled seam binding through the lace. Vintage lace. Stamped on the left side here with a rose. Our ladies, some tea-dyed tracing paper. And then I had this lace that I bought at the time that I bought the silk, the Dupioni silk for the other covers. And when it came to, you know, putting them together, this was a little bit more periwinkle. It was just a little too bright, but I wanted to use a big chunk of it in each journal. So I've just, you know, floated it on top of these pages here. If you don't like it, if it's too bulky or awkward, you can do several things. You can just gently lift it off. If it rips at the top there, you can just cover that with washi tape or whatever. And then you could use this elsewhere. Or you could cut it in half, or you could just glue it down at the bottom and then you've got a pocket. So I thought this kind of was a unique way to use up this beautiful, beautiful periwinkle colored lace. Some of the digital images from Bella, some French grammar book page, a little small flap. And when I say page sides, that includes the flaps. It includes everything. So its thickness is going into your spine. Just a little journaling card from Tim Holtz. We all have lots of those. Beautiful, almost an orchid colored dyed lace there. Some more Anna Griffin paper and some vintage lace trim that I have. Just a little booklet for more journaling. And then I've got another tag made out of Edith Holden book page, tied with the seam binding and some beautiful vintage buttons, just for extra writing. And I love the way it does hang over the side of each page. Here is some extra journaling space with one of the digital image pages. And this is supported by some vintage music sheet. One of the images from the Bella kits as a pocket and a small tag on parchment paper or cardstock. Some purple stenciling. And then this little pocket here off the side with some vintage lace and an applique. And then I've got one of the Fussy cut flowers and a small tag from the Stamperia paper. So you can move the ephemera around. You can do whatever you want. You can replace it with your own. And then this page, I've just added a beautiful piece of vintage doily on here. I just thought it finished that page off so nicely. Just some extra journaling space here. My logo, Vintage Elegance Inspiration. Some beautiful purple eyelet cotton. This I purchased as that color just at the vintage fabric store. And then the closing image on this side is just so very beautiful. I absolutely love it. I love this lace too. I believe it's Alencon lace. Definitely got the corded raised embroidery on it. And then each recipient will receive one of these vintage postcard cards. I did not make these, I purchased them, but I just felt they went so lovely with the theme. And there you have that one. So this is Violet. She is spoken for. And then we've got Pansy, which is just a shade lighter. So here we go with Pansy. Same card in the front, same booklet and paper doll on the back. Just a slightly lighter color of the velvet. And then this has the beautiful Alencon lace that I've attached all the way across the inside front and back covers. You've got your little bundle with the lace, a covered booklet, a tag, and some stationery, some sweet little beads. And I love this lace. All of this lace, just so very beautiful. Some ruffling here, a little booklet with some stenciling. Some more of the Lavender booklet folder. This is an envelope from Bella with one of the images from the Victorian fashion ladies in this other kit. And one of these beautiful Edith Holden book page tags that I've created with the Fussy cut flowers, vintage lace, and the pocket, antique French lace, some stamping, tracing paper. There's quite a few bride images on these digitals, which is just so lovely. You could easily give this as a shower gift to somebody, and it would fit the theme so nicely. Some more of the Fussy cut flowers and one of these tags that I've used Anna Griffin paper and the purple file folder with some of Sheila's beautiful sari silk chiffon and bling trim. Some stamping, Bible book page, poem by Emily Dickinson. This lovely image on this side with one of these tags and the vintage buttons with the shanks. Some vintage lace in the lilac colored. Some French grammar book page. I just love this effect of lace on lace on lace. Just so stunning. This little flap here. This image again of the hand and the rose from ThePaperCameo. Stenciling, hydrangea paper. This beautiful little doily with some of Nikki's applique on there and a beautiful button that I've attached. Stamping. This actually opens both ways, so you can open it this way or just pull out your secret note from this side. Sweet little image from the Bella kit with some vintage lace. One of the Fussy cut flowers in a darker color. Not sure if it's a pansy or a violet. Center of the signature. And these beautiful beads again. I so love them. If these are something you don't care for, you can always cut them shorter and use the beads elsewhere. This particular journal has 96 pages front and back. One of these beautiful tags made from Anna Griffin paper. The decoupaged paper napkin, large tag, and some of this beautiful insert lace. I think this one I've tea-dyed. Then I ran the navy seam binding through there. Some torn paper as a pocket and one of Lorna's stamps that I've embossed with gold ink. It's an envelope that you can put some of your treasures inside. Torn and ripped paper, a tag, and a little image that I've made into a tuck spot. Some stamping, some of Sheila's velvet and her beautiful embellished trim. And just some little pieces of ephemera that you can add to. Another image with this tag. Another flap. And this is a tiny pocket from the Lavender collection, just a tiny little coin envelope. Some French grammar book page on this side. And another one of these tags that cascades over the side of the page. I do love these buttons. I bought a whole whack of them now. They are just so beautiful. They take on whatever color you want them to be, from green to blue to yellow to purple to red. They're just amazing, and I do love this image from Edith Holden. Stunning. Book page, some Bible page, some journaling page. Here is another mixed media tag with the texture paste in the opera mauve. A beautiful vintage handkerchief that I have made into a pocket and added some of Nikki's colored appliques. They're so beautiful. I love the crochet trim on the edge of this particular hanky. Some of the tea-dyed tracing paper. Purple stenciling. Another one of the mixed media tags with the vintage lace pocket trim and the crinkled seam binding. Antique French lace at the top here. You could insert something here. You can add to it as you want. Go for it. Some more of this beautiful, beautiful periwinkle colored lace. And a little tuck spot here on the side with just a booklet from the Victorian Fashion Ladies digital kit. Like I said, there's only 10 or 12 images. It's a very small kit, but they are just so very stunning. You can do so much with them. Here's another tag made out of the decoupage napkin, and then I cut one of the ladies out as a paper doll and attached it over top of the wings. Some more of Susie's beautiful applique purple trim, vintage music paper, and a pocket with some vintage lace and applique, and a fussy cut flower with a little tiny tag from Stamperia. And then one of these beautiful tags that I've created out of my old papers, and this beautiful image up from some stationery, some purple eyelet cotton, and my logo at the bottom, Vintage Elegance Inspiration. And another card for the recipient with pansies in it. How sweet is that? And then on our back side, we've got a booklet and just another journaling sheet of paper. So that is this one. This is Pansy, and she's ready to go, as is her sister Violet. So I hope you've enjoyed watching me flip through these beautiful journals. I do have 4 more to do, so I'm going to be a busy girl today. But I have very much enjoyed creating these journals. I'm very pleased with the results, and I hope you like what you see as well. Have a lovely day. Thank you for watching.